And then Forbes, did the article on me and stuff like that. And I mean, it was just crazy. Like the people that do it get results. So I'm just going to put it to you that way. The people that do it get results. So I'll teach 100 people, but only 10 people will do it. 10% will actually take action and do it. The other 90 are like all inspired. They're like, oh, this is so cool. I can't believe it. But they get in their own head and they're all about like, what's the other person going to think on the other side of the screen?
Before we start the show, I have a quick question for you. Is your resume stuck in the rejection pile? At Resume Assassin, I create powerful resumes that showcase your skills, experience, and achievements, getting you noticed by recruiters. I'll also optimize your LinkedIn profile, transforming it into a magnet for opportunity. Visit resumeassassin.com today and take charge of your job search. Visit resumeassassin.com. We're back at it for another episode of Recruiting Insider. And today, I have a very special guest here to talk about a topic that everyone cares about, which is actionable job searching tips. And from a finance guy, nonetheless. Trevor Houston, welcome to Recruiting Insider.
Hey, I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much for the invite.
Trevor is a super sought-after career strategist and financial expert who's been recognized by major publications like Forbes, Yahoo Finance, MarketWatch, ABC, CBS, and LinkedIn News. He's also the founder and CEO of ClearPath Wealth Strategies and has a fascinating career helping job seekers overcome ageism, recover income, and achieve financial freedom for retirement. That's awesome. So Trevor, tell me just a little bit more about your background. I mean, you've done so many amazing things. How'd you merge your financial services background with empowering others in their career journey?
Yeah, I saw this group and saw they were struggling with all this stuff. They were struggling to get back to work. And so every time they would get up and tell their story about how they actually landed work, it was always through a connection or a relationship. It was, networking. It was all about who you know. And so I thought, man, I could help these people network. I could help them connect some dots. And over the years, I've put together a lot of different programs. And I have this thing called the Career Transition Summit. And I've been teaching them and really training them over the years on different strategies on how to get back to work. And in the very beginning, to be transparent, I didn't know how to help them.
Sure.
I just knew that I felt led to, like I needed to help these people. And so in financial services, you've got all kinds of, different people, and they help doctors, lawyers, high net worth individuals. I just was like, you know what? I want to help people. And these people were hurting. They actually needed the help, and it's a challenge though. There's a lot of challenge, you know, helping them on the financial side of what we do because of the mindset that they have. A lot of them, again, they're in a scarcity mindset. It's, and a lot of them are like, I can't even think about this right now. I'm like, I just got to get back to work, got to get back to work, got to get back to work. And I'm like, that panic you're in, that panic you're feeling right now, the root cause of that feeling and emotion is financial. It's because you're running out of money. The whole reason why we go to work in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's a little bit of the backstory. You know, like I said, I got into the industry, was struggling real bad, found this group, identified with them, and just started giving back and volunteering on figuring out how to get them back to work.
Wow. That's an amazing story. And I love how you just kind of stumbled into this group and really just related to them on a whole different level, because like you said, when you moved from automotive into the financial services space, it probably felt like you were almost completely starting over from nothing, And you were coming from just absolutely crushing it. It sounds like, as a top performer in the automotive space, you had all of these leads coming in for you. They were coming to you. Now you're like building your own book of business from scratch and just watching your own savings dwindle at the same time. And that can be so scary. And I think that there are a lot of people that are on the job market today that this story probably will really resonate with them because, I've spoken with countless people over the last, I would say 3 months to even a year who have been job searching for months and months and months, and they're getting discouraged and they're getting frustrated and they're watching their savings dwindle, and it's really, really scary. And I want to talk a little bit more shortly about the Career Transition Summit that you mentioned, but you also piqued my curiosity because you said that you have created a lot of other programs as well that are, very much focused on not only landing a job quicker or, individual's career journey, but how that kind of intersects with finances. Can you talk about some of your other programs that are focused on, career and finances, and also a little bit more about what inspired you to empower others in their career and their finances?
Yeah, absolutely. So, over the years, we've done a lot of different things. Like I remember in the very beginning, it started out sitting down with a job seeker and just asking them questions. That was the very, very start of this whole thing. I would sit down and I would just say, "Hey, what's going on? What's your challenge? What's your biggest struggle? What's holding you back in the job search?" Like I would just ask a ton of questions, and I started to find some patterns, right? And you hear this all the time, like, it's my resume, and I go in the black hole and I'm getting ghosted by employers, and I apply online and it's scanning for the keywords, and if my keywords aren't just right, all these different things, and at the bottom of it, they just weren't being seen, right? And it's like, okay, shoot. So if that's the issue, you're not being seen, let's figure out how to solve that problem. Okay. And so that was from the very beginning, was just sitting down one-on-one.
Yeah.
And then over time, I was like, okay, you know what's better than one-on-one? Let's get groups of people together. That's just better use of my time. Right? So I started to do group trainings, right? And that's where the summit came into play. And we used to do this event at the Cowboys Club. And it was so cool. This was before the pandemic shut everything down. But we would literally take them, train them, coach them up, and then take them upstairs afterwards and do a big celebration. We would celebrate in advance, right? Like, hey, because you're all going to land. It's just a matter of time.
Sure.
And I would celebrate in advance, and we'd do a toast. And we're up there in the Cowboys Club, where you see the owner, Jerry Jones, and you see he would fly his helicopter in, and like this
Cool.
place is like
Wow.
super luxurious, right?
Yeah.
And so it was cool because these people oftentimes are like not going out. They're cutting back on things because of money issue, right? So we got to like, spoil them a little bit, take them someplace nice, do a little happy hour for them, and they got to have an experience, and it was a true experience, and so we love doing that. And I did that for many years until the pandemic shut things down. We also used to do these career events. Like I've built my network of thousands and thousands of recruiters, and especially with the show, the podcast that I have, it's really built a very, very strong network of hiring managers, recruiters, talent acquisition, all of that. So what we did was I was like, let's do a career event. Let's like see if we can get the two groups in the same room, and next thing you know, we're doing like job fairs. I'd have like 60 employers out there, and I had this this place called CityWorks. It's a restaurant actually, but I rented out the entire upstairs of the restaurant, and they had this amazing balcony that looked out over the Cowboys Club and the like Jerry's World, freaking awesome. And so we rented that out and did a career event there, and it was really cool. So used to do a lot of that stuff pre-pandemic, and then the world shut down, and I went online. And what was cool about that is that if you remember during the pandemic, everybody was getting furloughed and let go because companies didn't know what was happening. They just were like, we just got to let everybody go and
Yep.
furlough everybody. And so pretty much most people got let go from their companies during the pandemic. And so there was a huge need. I mean, the need was bigger than it's ever been.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, our business just explodes all across the country overnight. I
Wow.
mean, oh yeah, it was insane.
Overnight.
I mean, virtually, yeah. I mean, when the
Right, but
world
that it
shut
was quick,
down,
that
like,
quick. Yeah.
oh,
Wow.
absolutely. Because I was quick to adapt online,
Sure.
and it just boom. Whereas pre-pandemic, there were resources available for job seekers, but not that many.
Yeah.
And it was all depending on where you lived. Like Dallas was a hub. There was actually a lot of churches would put on a lot of resources here
Yep.
for job seekers. But other areas of the country, it didn't exist. It just didn't until the pandemic. Now all of a sudden, everybody's online. Every career coach is doing something. Every recruiters are doing stuff. Everybody's doing stuff online. So all of a sudden, there's an abundance of resources
Yeah.
online. And we were just one of the first ones to get in gear and to get there. And so we've done our career transition summit online for since then. Still is. It's a webinar that they go through, and basically what I'm teaching them there, it's really like if visibility is the issue and nobody's seeing you, you're applying online, your resume's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
If nobody knows you, nobody flows you. Okay, you need to get seen, discovered. We need to put the human element back in the job search. We need people to see you, to know, like, and trust you. This is like sales, and so before sales, you need marketing. This is one of the things I identified when I came into financial services was like before I ever sold a car in the dealership, right? If you think about it, before someone ever walked in the door, what had to happen? We had to have commercials and advertisements and billboards and all of these things. Think about this. Before you pull over and go get a Big Mac and go through the drive-thru, what has to happen? You got to see the golden arches, right?
Yep. Yep.
That's advertising.
Yep.
That's marketing. So marketing comes before sales. And if you've got to sell yourself, that's what a job search is. You got to sell yourself, right?
Yep.
Well, if you got to sell yourself, before sales comes marketing. What do you think a resume is in the first place? Resume is a marketing piece.
100%.
Piece of marketing, right?
Yep.
So that's what I started teaching job seekers was marketing. Like, hey, how do we bring you to market? How do we market yourself? How do we build your personal brand, your LinkedIn profile? How do we create content? I have this thing called the 7 C's to cash flow, careers and cash flow. It's consistent content creates conversations that convert into careers and cash flow,
I love that.
right?
Yeah, that's great.
Right?
Yep.
So the content machine creates conversations. That's ultimately what it does. It drives people to you. It is like when you put out a piece of content, that's like your commercial, that's your advertisement, that's your marketing and building of your personal brand and building trust and authority and telling people what you do and how you're the one that can solve the problem for that organization or that company, right? And so a lot of these job seekers, they just get a LinkedIn profile and they
Yep.
think that's all they got to do.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, no,
Scratching the
right?
surface there. Yeah.
I actually teach them to do a podcast like this
Yeah, there you go.
and to chop it up in a billion pieces
You
and to
got
put
it.
it out there.
Yep.
And, there's a lot more to it than that, but I mean, it's, yeah, marketing, huge. You need marketing. And if you don't have that, well, then no one's going to come to you. Let's put it that way.
Yep.
You're going to have to go to them. You're going to have to essentially, like when I was just started in financial services, like I was going to people and they were running from me.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that happens for these job seekers. They go approach a recruiter and the recruiter's like ghosting them, right?
Yeah.
But what big difference it is when the recruiter comes to them. It's completely changes the game if they do it that way. And so I teach the job seekers how to create inbound leads for their job search. Inbound.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. And I was speaking with a client earlier today, and she was actually on the phone crying with me because she's been applying for 6 years, 6 years, and hasn't landed a job yet. Now, in her circumstance, she has sold a couple of companies, so she doesn't really need a job for the money, but she's searching for a job that she's really passionate about. And I think she was crying and upset because, like you said, Trevor, she isn't feeling seen. She feels like she's just throwing out her resume to, all of these positions that she feels qualified for, feels like she should be getting an interview for. And she hasn't pivoted that strategy in the last 6 years. She's been doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I
That's
think
the
that
definition of insanity right there.
it is, and I think she's feeling the effects of that too. And I think that it's so incredible that in 2019, prior to it being kind of a popular thing, jumping on LinkedIn and creating content and doing all these things where it seems like everybody's doing it. Like you said, every career coach out there is creating content. Every recruiter is creating content. You were able to help job seekers in a very similar situation to my client jump in and kind of be early adopters of this content creation machine that we're kind of seeing happening today on LinkedIn. And so I think that, for a lot of people that are listening today, it's not too late to start marketing yourself. It's not too late to start learning some of these skills that Trevor's teaching, and that he's helping so many people overcome spending 6 years hitting their head against a wall applying to all these positions and not getting any feedback. There are alternative strategies and alternative ways that you can get your foot in the door, and you can start attracting employers instead of going out and applying online through LinkedIn, through the company website, which is still a great strategy. Don't stop doing that. But, there are other things that you can be doing in addition to that, like networking, like creating content, building connections, building actual relationships with recruiters and hiring managers within the company, or with, employees that are currently at the company, or, even searching for the specific job title that you want to get at that company, and making connections on LinkedIn that way, and starting to provide value to that person, and building genuine relationships that way. There are just so many different opportunities to, start building that network and putting yourself out there.
100%. I agree with you. And like what you said is it's never too late. Okay. When's the best time to plant a tree?
Yeah.
Well, that would be 20 years ago. But the second best time is right now.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to get started.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Zig Ziglar said that you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Right? You
Yep.
got to get started is the bottom line. You just have to start.
Yeah.
And I have a gentleman that I worked with. Actually, this is his third job search. in, I want to say 4, maybe 5 years. I've been working with him for 4 to 5 years. And he'll land, he'll get a contract, maybe it'll land a year, something like that, right?
Yeah.
This is his third time. But every time that I work with him, he always lands through inbound every single time. I mean, it's all inbound. They're discovering
Yep.
him. They're finding him. It's not because he's applying to something online. So if you're tired of applying online and not getting anywhere, if that's you, now hear me on this. The audience right now, hear me on this. If you're applying online and it's working, keep doing what you're doing,
For sure.
right? If you're getting results, then
Don't
forget
break
what
it
I'm
if it
talking
ain't
about.
broken.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but if you are like this lady who's spending 6 years, oh my gosh, I feel so
Yeah.
awful. You spend 6 years or whatever, or maybe 6 months, and you're going beating your head against the wall, and you're thinking it's your resume, and you're thinking it's this, and no, it's just the way the system is. The system's broken. The job search is broken, and I have a unique idea to fix it. Um, actually, I would fix this problem. The job search, I could genuinely fix this problem, but people aren't going to like it, and it's a pretty big thing. I don't know how exactly I would even go about getting it done, but I just want you to imagine this. I want you to imagine for a reason. For a second, the reason why it's broken is because there used to be a day and age where you could walk in with your resume and you could fill out an application in person, right? Maybe even get an interview on the spot,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Those days are over because online,
Yep.
right? You apply online. Well, when that happened, now your pool just got bigger because now you're competing with somebody that lives across the country or even across the world. And especially now that we have remote work, that pool got even bigger. You're literally competing with somebody. Like the office is right across the street from you, but you're competing with somebody in Japan
Yep.
or India or Kansas. And you're
Yep.
like, oh my gosh, like it's right here. It's right across the street. The pool it went global, right? So people are applying, and people are applying for stuff that they have no business even doing. And so what did companies do? They got the ATS systems put in place to basically weed people out. We got to weed through this. Okay, we
Yep.
got too much. We can't handle all this, application. So we got to put some systems in place to weed people out. Okay, so that's the problem, right? Well, I have a solution to that problem. Here's the solution. On both sides, we need to put a barrier in place. Okay? Um, Job seekers, they're not going to like this, but hear me on this. Job seekers would need to pay to apply. You're thinking, oh my gosh, well, they're out of income, blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's tough, right? Yeah, I get it. Well, you've got to pay. I don't know what the amount needs to be or whatever. Maybe there's some kind of unemployment when you're on unemployment. Maybe there's some kind of unemployment credits. But the point is, you've got to pay to play. Okay. Now, what is that going to do? If you're not qualified and you had to pay, let's say it's $10 to apply. Okay, are you going to apply if you're not qualified?
Absolutely not.
Nope.
I
Okay.
would not
So
be.
what did that do? That pool just got a lot smaller, okay, which solved that problem. But on the flip side of this, these companies, they're playing games too. I'm sorry to tell you. The companies play games. They'll advertise jobs that they're not really hiring for. We've seen that. They'll take forever to hire. They will make people jump through a million hoops. Okay. I had this one guy, he had 12 rounds of interviews. 12. That's freaking
That's
insanity.
absolutely insane.
It's insane.
12.
And yeah, could you imagine being the guy that did 12 rounds and didn't get the job?
I think I'd be out after like 4 to 6 rounds. I'd be like, okay, are you going to
Well,
hire
here's
me
what
or
they
not?
need to do.
Yeah.
Here's what they need to do. Here's the back end incentive, okay? So they need to pay you for your time. Job seekers will get paid for their time, whether they land the job or not, okay? If I have to pay to apply, they got to pay to interview.
Yeah.
right? So if I'm spending, like, think about that. How
Mm-hmm.
much time when somebody interviews with this company do they take to do research and da 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 da? And then you're going to make me jump through all these hoops and take these assessments and do all of this stuff. And then I'm going to go through 12 rounds of interviews. And then you're going to say, or maybe ghost me completely. No, that's wrong. It's absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
They should pay you for that time. Okay? You're working for them. You are literally working for them. They're making you jump through all these hoops. No, no. They should pay you for your time. Okay? And that money should come from the pool of the applications, right? I'm $10 or whatever the number is. I don't have those answers, but if there's money in the front and money in the back, okay, it's going to make the employer on the back end act a little bit more serious. Maybe I'm not going to do 12 rounds of interviews because I'm going to have to pay this person and everyone else, right? I'm going to have to pay them,
Yeah.
and it should be on the application itself. Like, you should see this application pays $100 or whatever, $100 per interview, right? Costs $10 to apply, pays $10 an interview, something like that, right?
Yep.
What do you think about that idea? Do you think that would solve the problem?
Yeah, I think that, so I've never really thought about the pay to play feature or aspect before, and I think that it's a really interesting concept, but I guess the thing that pops up in my head immediately when I think about actually paying to apply to a position is just kind of that it helps people that are in more of a position of privilege, or those people that maybe have a larger nest egg would probably be more likely able and willing to apply to a position, even if it is only $10, when you have a family to feed and your savings is dwindling. It would be really hard to pull the trigger even on applying to spending $10 to apply to a position.
Yeah.
But I mean, the concept there makes a lot of sense to me, though.
Yeah, the concept makes sense, and I don't know. Again, I don't have the answer on that. Like I said, job seekers are not going to like that.
Yeah.
And to your point, the people that already have money, right? It's not going to be a big deal, but the
Yeah.
person that's going broke or is broke, it's going to be an issue. So, how do you solve that problem? It would create a unique problem that, like I said, if there was some kind of maybe they get some unemployment credits or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, if there was funding in place, which we do have funding in place for unemployment benefits and things like that. If there
Yep.
was some kind of benefit, you know, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a part of a LinkedIn premium subscription. You get X amount of like
Yeah.
applications.
There you
I don't know.
go.
I don't know
There you
what the
go.
answer is.
Yeah.
But you only get so many.
I think
Like
we're
you
on
on-
to something, though.
like
It's
imagine, yeah, like imagine you get like you pay $50 a month for a LinkedIn premium subscription, job seeker edition, and it comes with 100 credits.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Like, and maybe some jobs cost more credits than other jobs cost credits. Like, hey, this job's only 1 credit. Like, if it's a job at Burger King, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe 0 credit.
But then people would be like, "Oh, screw this! I'm just gonna go apply on the company website instead of through LinkedIn."
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, but you hear what I'm saying? Maybe if it's a
Yeah.
lower end type of a role, it's
Yeah,
like, hey,
for sure.
it's 0 credits. We don't charge, but
Yeah.
we also don't pay on
Yeah.
the back end. Why? Because we're not messing around. It's hamburgers. Like,
Yeah.
come on, let's go. But some of these jobs that take forever and all that kind of stuff, they need to.
Yeah.
There's just something needs to change. I
I
don't know
agree.
if that's the answer or not, but something
Yeah.
needs to change. So.
Yeah, I mean, especially if somebody's going through 8 rounds of interviews, that's far too many.
Oh, I've seen all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
These
my
these
goodness.
employers, I feel so bad for the job seekers. Like I really do. I feel
Yeah.
really, really bad for them. I have so much empathy for them because I see what they have to go through.
Yeah.
All the hoops and personality assessments and all that's garbage.
Yeah.
It's just garbage. I'm sorry. The way they hire people is just garbage.
Tough. Yeah. And I do want to talk a little bit more about your career transition Summit. Can you
Okay.
tell us a little bit more about that and why you created it?
Yeah. So again, when we went, I've been doing it for many years now. It started in person at the Cowboys Club, and then we went to the webinar version after the pandemic. But really, it started, or what we're teaching in there is, again, strategies on how to get seen, marketing,
Yeah.
how to close the deal.
Yep.
So, closing techniques. And I mean, it's really jam packed. Like when you come in, you're going to feel empowered in your job search because you're going to see a whole bunch of stuff that you can do.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna be like, wow, oh my gosh, I can do this, I can do this, I
Mm-hmm.
can do this, I can do this, I can do this. Right now you feel like stuck.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna get blown away, but you're gonna get all these like light bulb moments going off.
Yeah.
People always tell me when they leave, they feel encouraged, lifted up, inspired. They feel hope, right? I give them hope and all of that, which is great because we got to get your mindset up, okay? Because
Mm.
if you already feel defeated, mindset is everything.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
It's
like
everything.
it literally is
Mm-hmm.
everything. It literally is everything. Like if you've ever seen somebody that, like, okay, I don't know if you like sports or not, but if you've ever
Love
seen,
sports.
okay, so like football, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
you ever see like in a game that team that's just defeated already,
Mm-hmm.
and you can
Absolutely.
just see it, or if
Yep.
there's a momentum shift and like the
100%.
ball gets intercepted or something, and you
Yep.
see them just like, oh, right? And like it's mindset. And then
Yep.
you get a guy like Tom Brady who can just freaking flip his mindset, right?
Yeah.
And go get the win,
Yep.
and so these job seekers, they come through this summit, and I'm able to lift them up and encourage them, motivate them.
Yeah.
It's a lot of motivation. That was another thing I witnessed that was missing. I would go to all these job networking groups, and there would be people teaching job search strategy and tips that were a lot older than me. Let's put it that way. And they had a lot less energy. Let's
Sure.
put it that way. They were a lot slower, and just the way they were teaching things, and a lot of
Yeah.
the stuff that they were teaching was outdated too. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, this is so outdated. Can we get some new energy and new blood in this thing?
Yeah.
And I noticed that they needed motivation, and so that's even with my podcast. I started
Mm.
bringing on motivational speakers.
Yeah.
I started bringing some of the world's best motivational speakers to speak life into the job
Mm.
search. And man, it's so cool. I always thought about, like, you think about for business owners and entrepreneurs and things like that, they have all these conferences
Yep.
and they bring in the greatest speakers around, like,
Mm-hmm.
to get you all pumped up.
Yep.
I'm like, job search needs that.
For sure.
We need that. But guess what? The problem is they're not going to pay for tickets,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
it's got to be a free event.
Yeah.
And that creates another problem. If it's free, okay, like the more you pay, the more you pay attention. Let's put it that
Yeah.
way,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, anyways, but yeah, inside the summit, a lot of motivation, a lot of hope,
Yeah.
a lot of strategy, a lot of light bulb moments. You're going to learn a
Mm.
ton. But I designed it that way because a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, there's so much.
Yeah.
And then after that, they get access to join a weekly mastermind. So I do live weekly coaching with them to really break down all of those concepts one
Mm-hmm.
by one. And it's like a 6-week boot camp that rotates. And, that way I can go deeper with them because
Yeah.
they go to the summit and they're like, oh my God, there's all this stuff.
They
I can
get
do all of
fired
this.
up too, probably.
Oh, they get fired up and they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, I can do it. But then they leave, and if I didn't have that weekly mastermind going deeper with them,
Yeah.
they would be like, yeah, and do nothing.
Yeah.
Right? It's like
Yep.
when you go, if you've ever been to a business conference, you get all jacked up and you take all these
Mm-hmm.
notes and you're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this is amazing. Now what? You go home and the notes collect dust
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, so that's why I designed the mastermind to go behind it, and that's free, by the
Yeah.
way. All the stuff that I talk about is free to the community of job seekers. Like I don't charge them anything for this. So
Yeah. No, I was doing some research on it, and it's rehumanize your
hmm
search, rebrand your presence,
hmm
regenerate your network,
hmm
recover your cash flow, and reclaim your life. And it just
hmm
seems like there are so many amazing strategies and tips that can be taken away from that summit. So I think that thank you for doing the work that you do, especially in doing it for free and just helping those frustrated job seekers that are out there that just they don't know where to turn. And so I guess, to kind of wrap things up today, talk to us. Tell us, what are your top 2 or 3 tips that we can take away, and especially as for those job seekers out there that are just, frustrated and feel like they're hitting a wall.
Yeah, great. Okay, so tips. Let's talk about it. So one of the ones that makes a biggest impact was one I was featured on Forbes for called the Job Search Trojan Horse. And the reason why this one makes such an impact is because there's a very small of percentage of people that will do it because it's uncomfortable. Okay, but if you want to stand out, the definition of a standout is being willing to do what other people aren't willing to do.
Yep.
Okay, so if
Means it
let's
ain't
say,
easy.
yeah, exactly, you got to be willing to do what other people aren't
Yeah.
to get the results that other people aren't. So if you think about it, if the strategy I'm about to tell you, if everyone did it, then it would just be another thing. But the fact that only a small percentage does it, well, those people get results. So I love that about this strategy. It's called the Job Search Trojan Horse, and what you essentially are going to do is you got to get the human element back in the job search. You got to get people involved. You got to get recruiters, hiring managers, decision makers. You got to get these people involved. And so a lot of times you go online, you go on LinkedIn, they ghost you. Okay, they're not
Yeah.
talking to you. So how do you get their attention? How do you get the attention of busy people? Well, one of the strategies that I was doing was I would get one of these little whiteboards, okay, and I'd write the person's name on it. And I use this tool called BombBomb, B-O-M-B, B-O-M-B, and it's a
Okay.
video communication tool that essentially you make these little small videos. Think of a voicemail. You're gonna leave a voicemail, but you're just gonna do it on video.
Yep.
And so if I was sending you a video, what I would do is, again, I'd write your name on the whiteboard,
Yep.
and curiosity killed the cat, right?
Yep.
You want to know why your name is on this
Yeah.
video.
Oh, I would.
You're gonna be like, "What is this
What
all
what
about?"
is he what does this guy want?
Yeah. And what you do is you're gonna flash it at the camera like this. So you go like that, boom, to the camera, to your face, and you make sure you smile, right? Like that. And what happens is the tool actually has a GIF. Okay. So what they see is like an animated GIF,
Oh, cool.
right? So they
Yeah.
see this, boom, like that, boom. They see the name, then your face, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like grabbing their attention. And what you're going to do is you're going to leave this video in their comment section of a post. Okay? You're
100%.
going to comment on a post. Everybody else is going to comment black and white text, black and white text, black and white text. You're going to be the only one standing out of the comments with a freaking video with their name on it. Okay? And what you're going to do is in this video, you're going to do it under 60 seconds. It's got to be short. Again, think of a voicemail. If you can do a voicemail, you can do this too. Okay?
Yep.
So think of like a voicemail. We want 3 things inside of this voicemail or this video message. We want to compliment them. Okay? It's 3 C's. Compliment. We want commonality. Okay, what do you have in common with this person? And then compliment. I'm sorry, I already said that. We want to compliment them. We want commonality, and then call to action. That's the third one.
Yes.
Call to action. Okay, 3 C's. So something like this. There was a post on LinkedIn that somebody put out there, and it was about an event. It was a concert in California, some concert
Mm-hmm.
in California. And they posted it and how amazing it was and all of that. Okay, great. So that's the post. Well, I reached out and I say, hey, Mary, I absolutely love that post. It got me thinking
Mm.
about my family that lives in California. By the way, do you live in California?
Yeah.
I need to go see my grandma. That's what this post has got me reminding of. I need to go see my grandma. Anyways, appreciate you sharing this. I thought it was awesome, and I'd love to have a quick conversation with you sometime, if you would. My link to my calendar is up above. You can just click the link click the time that works best for you. But thanks again for the post. I hope you have a blessed day, and we'll talk soon. Boom.
Boom.
Right?
That's
And you hit it.
genius.
You hit the three things. So I hit the
Yep.
compliment. Great post.
Yep.
It could literally be as simple as that. Great post. What did we have in common? Well, my family's from California. The post is about California, some event in California, right? Love to talk with you soon. Here's a link to
Yeah.
my calendar. And what happens is you're putting so much energy through the screen, right? And they've
Mm.
never gotten anything like that before,
Yep.
right? They're going to feel guilty if they don't engage with you, okay? If they don't even, like, maybe they don't schedule a time, and a lot of times they will. There's a high chance that they will actually schedule and get on your calendar. But even if they don't, they're going to engage back. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
reply back. They're going to feel guilty if they don't,
Yep.
right? And so this is a strategy on how do we get the hiring managers, the recruiters. Now, notice in that video, did I say anything about, hey, I'm looking for a job and I'm doing this, that, and the other? No.
Nope.
The whole goal is to get them onto a conversation,
Yeah.
get them on the phone. And so in the video, BombBomb allows you to add a link inside of your video. So in the
Cool.
video, I would add my Calendly link so they could just
Mm.
click on it and pulls up my calendar and they can schedule a time with me. And they're going to be like, wow, this guy, right?
Yeah.
And so that's how we get a pipeline of interviews started, informational interviews. This will be informational interviews that if you do it correctly, they turn into real interviews. So once they start that process, they get a pipeline of informational interviews going from LinkedIn. Then I teach them the strategy on how to follow up and close the deal, which is very similar. We're still going to use that BombBomb tool, but
Mm-hmm.
now we're just going to do it in a different place. We're not going to do it in comments. We are actually going to do it in an email, right?
Mm.
Because now we've had the informational interview. I just talked with you. I had the great conversation with you. Now I'm going to follow up, but I'm going to send you a video email. And that video email is going to be like, hey, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate, learning about Toyota and the company culture and what you guys are all about. And I'm actually really excited about the opportunity. Can't wait to learn more. Contact information's down below. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Have a blessed day. Talk to you soon. Bye. And you're just simply saying thank you in a video.
Yeah.
And you follow up with that. And BombBomb gives you tracking, gives you analytics. So now you know when they're watching the video, you know when they're playing the video. And what we find is those videos actually get played on average about 15 times.
Wow.
And it's because what happens is you send that email into the recruiter. The recruiter's blown away by that. They're like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
They then forward that to the other decision makers,
Mm.
their other coworkers, the other
Yep.
recruiters, maybe the CEO, maybe the hiring manager. They forward your email around. So now you're going viral within the company,
Yep.
okay? All because of a simple video email that just grabs their
Yeah.
attention and wows them. And so what you've turned is an informational interview, and now you're following it. You've turned it into this like wave of support from all these other
Yeah.
people and this virality inside of the company. And I've literally interviewed CEOs, hiring managers, and people that have hired people that are doing this that I've taught. And they're like, man, I totally fell for the Trojan horse. Like, I fell for it.
It
It's awesome.
works. You know what?
It's
I
so
brought
impactful.
on I brought on an individual who is kind of specializes in job searching and AI, and she brought up a story about somebody who must have used a tool that was similar to this with her. And it wasn't for landing a job, but they were selling a product. So it sounds like kind of a sales tool where this
Yeah.
individual, landed in basically into her messages on LinkedIn, just like a normal message. And she was like, who is this person? Go away. She ignored him. And then they come back at her with a video, just a quick video like that. And she was like, okay, I'll watch the video. Okay, I'll set up a call. She felt obligated, okay, I need to set up a call with this person. Have a phone call or a Zoom call, a video call. It went really well. She wasn't overly interested in the product. And then this person, I think, showed up in a video in her text messages. And it was just really, really persistent, and it caught her attention. And it kept persuading her. And eventually she ended up purchasing the product that this person was selling. And so I love that you're using this strategy with job seekers because it's like you're going above and beyond. People, not many people are using this. If you're popping into recruiter and a hiring manager, specifically into a post, I love that you said go into their post. You're not even saying go into their LinkedIn messages, because I'm here to tell you that their LinkedIn messages are buried within an hour. So jump on their post because that's where they're engaging. That's what they'll notice.
Yep.
And then go from there. That's genius. I love it.
Absolutely. That's it's one of my favorite ones, and I learned it because I was using it in my business, right, to humanize my
And
business
it worked.
practice, right? And it worked. I saw
Yeah,
the
man.
difference.
Wow.
And I thought, well, if I was a job seeker, I'd do the same thing.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I do this? And so I started teaching it as purely concept in the beginning. And I was like telling some job seekers, I'm like, hey, just trust me on this. Just like, I mean, this isn't proven yet, but just hang with me, right? And I
Yeah.
had a few that were like, I got you. I'm gonna try it. And I'm telling you, the results started coming back.
I
And
bet.
we started seeing the analytics, and then all of a sudden they're landing, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe this worked!" Like it was just amazing. And then
Wow.
Forbes, did the article on me and stuff like that. And I mean, it was just crazy. It is the people that do it get results. So I'm just going to
Yeah.
put it to you that way.
Yeah.
The people that do it get results. So I'll teach 100 people, and only 10 people will do it, right? So
Yeah.
10% will actually take action and do it. The other 90 are like all inspired. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is so cool! I can't believe it!"
I'm
But
not gonna do it
they
though.
get in their own head,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
they're all about like, what's the other person going to think on the other side of the
Yeah.
screen, right?
But you got to
It's the
think about
fear of
yourself as a
judgment.
product,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're thinking of yourself as a product, kind of disassociate, maybe compartmentalize that a little bit, get out of your head and, find the courage to do it. It sounds like it's worth it.
Courage. It takes courage.
Yeah.
And but I try to tell them. I try to bring it down. I say, if you can leave a voicemail, you can do this too.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Like, have you ever? How many? I always say that. How many of you have ever left a voicemail? Anybody have an issue leaving a voicemail here? Raise your hand if you have an issue leaving a voicemail.
Not me.
Like, no one raises their hand. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
cool, good. Because if you can do a voicemail, right, then you can do this strategy I'm about to share with you right here. It is literally a voicemail. The only difference is I have a camera in front of me. That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm smiling in front of the camera saying, "Hey," like they're standing in front of me, right?
Yeah.
But it's a message. It's a instead of a voice message, it's a video message. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? They have messages on, like you've probably done the little voice memos from your phone where you can like leave a little voice memo, right?
Yep.
Which is also good too. I encourage people to do the voice memo. If you're
Yeah.
not going to do the video message, the voice message is great too. So it's kind of like this. Video is number one. Video's king. Okay. Voice is queen. All right. And text is like the little peasant. Okay. Like everybody got text. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing text. So you're not standing out
Yeah.
at all. At all.
Amazing.
You're not.
Yeah.
You're just black and white text. It doesn't make you human. Right.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why they created emojis and stuff like that, is to try to put like the human element in. We're
Humanize
trying
the
to like put
text. Yeah.
emotion into
Yep.
it, right?
Yep.
But
Yeah.
so, in a world where the job search has been dehumanized and they've removed the human element, we need to put it back in,
Yeah.
right? So anyway, it works really well. It's very effective. I've been teaching it for years, and that's part of the summit.
Love it. Well, awesome. It's been a pleasure, Trevor. Where can we find you on social media?
Oh, just connect with me on LinkedIn. That's my jam. Come connect with me over there.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for coming on today.
Absolutely. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening. I will be releasing episodes every Monday, so be sure to subscribe on the platform that you are watching this, give it a 5-star review, and we'll see you next time.